I love this guy to death, but my boy Tyler, he tells me every January 1st, I'm going to stop. And I'm looking at you right now. And you don't stop. I look at him every time I see him hit it. I'm like, you like sucking on that robot dick? Every single time. He hates it. I'm going to say it until he stops because I want him to
Straight
stop.
chemical concoction straight to your lung. Like, we don't even know what that is yet.
And I bet you if you had ChatGPT read off the chemical list, it'd be scary. Because they say it's like, what, 3,000 different chemicals?
Something like that.
So you,
It's motor
since
oil.
it's just, it's basically petroleum at that point.
Like, what is the
I would
flavor?
rather smoke fossil fuels because at least that's organic bones that just decayed. That seems more natural than what they're putting in the vape.
Sure, straight energy. Too.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, I could run off of fuel. I would rather dinosaur bones any day of the week, you know? But enough jokes aside, don't vape, breathe air and drink water.
Amen.
But welcome back to the 7th official episode of the Get 1% Better podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest. Brady, if you would like to introduce yourself, sir.
Sure. My name is Brady Nowak. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a certified personal trainer and business owner. I had the pleasure of meeting Jay about, 2-3 months ago now?
Yeah, time is quickly passing by in 2024.
And I remember first time I met him, he came over to my gym. We had a great meeting. I was trying to think of words to describe you, and the two I came up with were stoic and grounded. You have this aura around you that's just incredible to be around. So I appreciate the invite to come on the podcast.
Thank you. Very interesting. I like that, honestly. There's not many people that I find that are as knowledgeable about their vision. There are people that see their vision, but there's not many people that know their vision, chase their vision, and act on it. So having that grounded quality, I feel as though that's like why we clicked immediately, because everything that we talked about, it was an immediate understanding. Even if it was different, we still understood it, and we were both like, okay, I could see how that could be helpful.
You're one of those people that, I guess we both are. We have these visions, these grand ideas, but we make the step to put them into action. That's where a lot of people stop. You have these good ideas, you do a lot of research, but taking that first step forward and making it realistic is such a big obstacle for most people.
The realistic part, I feel like, might be the drawback for a lot of people, though, is that a lot of people feel like it's unrealistic, and it's unrealistic because it hasn't happened. But, you know, anything that's unrealistic, you can make realistic with the proper groundwork and the steps, and do the research, watch the motivational videos. But also, you know, you got to do a little bit of it to make it happen.
Take that risk, take that step.
I mean, I thought all of this was unrealistic. I mean, I have $30,000 worth of camera equipment. And back in the day when I was watching gaming videos, I had $500 computer that I scraped up and built off of Newegg. And I was like, I want to have cool videos like those guys one day. That was very unrealistic for where I was.
It's important to express gratitude for these.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we wished and want these things to happen, but they happen. We almost forget about. We were thinking about and praying about this stuff a long time ago.
I think if people reminded themselves more of that and less of what they don't have, they would be so much happier with what they do.
And that's something I struggle with. I'm sure.
I struggle with this.
We always want more.
I'm a little brat sometimes, because sometimes I sit there and I'm like, what do I want to eat today? I've eaten everything around
Sure.
me. And it's like, I'm blessed to have had that opportunity, because there's people that are like, when am I going to eat again? Not what am I going to eat again?
Sure.
So, you know, looking at it that way really helps you just really enjoy things a lot more. Like your car, your phone. Even if your phone's cracked, it's like, oh, at least I have a phone, you know?
It works.
Yeah, that little mindset shift is very powerful. And, like, I feel like probably dopamine release as well. Sure. Maybe. We'll have to ask Huberman. I know Huberman knows a lot about that. Yeah.
Dude, that'd be so much information. His podcast.
Immaculate.
You almost have to go pen and paper.
I do sometimes.
Okay, I was gonna say, you can't retain that.
I listen to it on the way to Charlotte and back, because some of them are long, or like I'll listen to his podcast with like specific speakers. But if it's like something specifically that I'm doing research for, or like want to know something that I want to implement into my own regimen, it's definitely pen and paper, because he just lays it on you. But for him, it's just relaying information he knows.
I wonder what that podcast prep is, because obviously we're just kind of riffing here, but
Well, I believe that it is a bullet points. Sure. because I've seen it's bullet points because his son actually does YouTube as well.
Okay.
And I managed his YouTube video uploads for a while. So he was actually filling me in on a little bit of what he does. I'm going to get Andrew Human on this podcast. It's just going to happen.
Speak it
Yeah,
out,
give it
man.
about a year. Give it about a year. I want to get really well. I want to get good at interviewing. I want to be able to know what questions to ask before I ask for somebody of that caliber to be on my podcast. You know, I would like to get comfortable and get my boys comfortable, and then we all go up and we all get on that podcast rather than just I'm gonna go do it.
It'd be incredible to be part of that.
It'd
That
be
man, similar to you,
It
grounded,
would be immaculate,
smart,
dude. He is
honored to be around.
very well put together. I will say that without groveling at this guy's knees, but
Hey, respect,
Dude,
respect deserved.
he's
man.
he's very good. I would say it's probably bullet points and just his knowledge, because the way that he relays it is something I speak very, very highly of. Is when you can tell somebody's a professional, or let's not use professional because somebody with a degree is considered a professional. If you are knowledgeable and you are competent, that just flows. He flows, not because he's looking at something, because I have also done work for somebody who is extremely smart. Like, I'm not going to say any names, but he's extremely smart, very intellectual guy. He's built a very quality brand based off facts and research and studies, and he's put in a decade of work. But he reads off of what he talks about in his podcasts and his work. So you can tell the difference in the different transfer and the relay of information from
The
him is just
articulation
different.
of the words. I mean, I'm sure even Huberman, for example, he's dumbing things down to.
Oh yeah, he sometimes he says words and I'm just like, huh? Wait, go rewind that real quick. What'd you say?
We Google search that real quick.
Yeah, it's not always the easiest information to process, but he makes it digestible and he does a very good job. And that's really where I want to get this to be.
Sure.
But also, starting at the simple things like what we just discussed with be grateful for what you have. That makes a very big difference, and it really does, because your quality of life will literally improve if you do that.
Sure. We see the good. Good comes to us, man. It's like you said, we can look around all these things we don't have, but let's look at what we do have, what we have worked for, what we have been blessed with, and we'll be able to handle more in the future.
I think too many people kind of ignore that simple thinking process. Almost like, because I usually do things off protocol, because like there's certain protocols we follow. There's protocols the guys follow in video games. There's protocols that you follow in the morning, your regimen to get ready and make sure your breath doesn't smell like hell. Everybody has protocols, and thinking and accomplishing things is just more protocols. Like, like where did you move from, and why did you move to Raleigh specifically?
So originally grew up in southern Michigan, on the border of Michigan and Ohio. Moved up to northern Michigan to go to college. Went to nursing school at Saginaw Valley State University. If you've ever been to Saginaw, you'd understand why I moved away. Not much opportunity, a lot of crime. It's a hideous city, and it's snowy about 6 months.
We have no good things to say about this place.
Look, I got to meet my wonderful and beautiful girlfriend there. I got to get my education there, made a great group of friends. But we visited Raleigh a few times, and we fell in love with it. It feels like home. Come to find out, it's an incredible city for growing a business, growing a network, and growing good, genuine friends.
Say we have a quality group of individuals here. I don't think, obviously, there are other beautiful places in the world to meet like-minded people, but something particularly special. I feel like our group is particularly special. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see too many Scooby-Doo gangs running around here, and I feel like it's at that level of just prestigious quality minds, and cultivation is just at peak with this specific group of individuals.
I would say focused.
Oh, very focused and very young.
Young, focused, ambitious.
And you need to be a little bit ambitious, and you need to be a little bit naive to failing, if I'm being honest. Because there's a lot of people who make decisions based off of failures. You shouldn't make decisions based off failures. You should make it based off calculations.
Sure, and the conversations we have as a group are different from any other group I've been in. None of us talk about other people. None of us really talk in a negative tone. It's all about growth. How can I help you? How can you?
Yes, that's a really big thing, too. That's actually very funny, because earlier today, I was talking to my mother, and I was like, I came in, I was like, hey, I have some shit to talk about somebody. And she's like, what is it? And I was like, oh, I don't give a shit enough to talk shit about somebody. The only time I really actually care enough to talk about somebody is if it is either I'm disappointed or I care to the point that I'm analyzing them to figure out a way to help them.
Sure.
So you're kind of picking them apart, and it's like, what are you doing wrong? What could you do better? You say you want to be happy, but you're doing this. It's kind of like that. Like,
And I think our individual lives all reflect that as well. We're all pretty dialed in our own respective grind. I mean, what other group of 20-some-year-old men are going to a run club on Sunday mornings to get together, go to church on Sunday mornings? Like, I haven't hit downtown with you guys yet, and I don't even know if it's gonna happen.
we don't. You talking about like bars and stuff?
Yeah, like that's just not what this group does.
We
And
don't really do that. The only time that we did that is when it was fewer of us and we were younger and our businesses weren't as big.
Sure.
They weren't as important. Like they weren't like the main income. And there's a lot of details I'm leaving out that I can think of that I could lay out on the table, but I'm specifically going to keep it kind of private because there's a lot of people that I don't want to invade on. But when it does come to this specific group of individuals, no, going out really isn't our thing. But we do give ourselves milestones to reach that we are allowed to break our hard streak. Because sometimes doing 90 days of a specific protocol can be very exhausting and taxing on your mind, your nervous system, your stress levels. So, we'll be like, okay, on like me and David, we got 2 boxes of cigars from the Dominican Republic, which is great. Sure. I'm going to come back with more because I'm going to the DR next week.
Grab me a box.
I got you.
Please.
What we decided is, like, we're going to reward ourselves. If you want to put this garbage in your body, you got to get, first client. You got to get 5 clients. You got to get 10 clients. We have a bottle of champagne that we're going to take to New York. And when all of us hit, our 100K month or whatever we wrote on that bottle, we're going to celebrate everybody's win.
We celebrate.
Yes.
We celebrate the wins. We don't just go out for no reason. We don't waste our time. We celebrate.
I don't like spending money on things that don't actually have a qualitative return, like good return, like food. I don't like buying food that's garbage. I mean, sometimes I eat garbage because everybody craves.
Love some good food, man.
Bojangles sometimes tears me up sometimes, and I crave that
Still
chicken.
have yet to have it.
You don't need it.
Okay. I will keep it like that. Everybody gives me flack for it down here. Not from the South. I don't get the Bojangles.
It is the best fried chicken you will ever taste here. Not really. There's better fried chicken, but it's just, I don't know. They put cocaine or something in it. I don't know what it is. It's good.
Coming back.
It's good. It does keep you coming back. It's tasty. It's good. The biscuit's nice and fluffy. Everything's good, but you don't need it. It's not good for you. It's pretty oily calories, but I like it because it's 3,000 calories I don't have to eat. So I'm just like, boom, 3,000 calories after the gym. But that's getting off point. We don't like to put time or money because you either have time or money. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy, you're trading your money for more time to do more things to make more money, or if you're poor, you're trading your time to make money. And we don't like to waste either of those resources because they're both invaluable and they both really mean the same thing. Their time and time on earth is valuable because that runs out. So the way we look at things is, why would we go out and drink and do nothing? And even when we do go out, we all go to the cigar lounge and we're sitting there talking about, okay, how can we make this business better? How can we make some
Even a
more
little
money?
bit.
We don't really like to waste time, and that's something I really like about these guys. Sometimes we do.
Sure.
Sometimes they do things that I might feel is useless or that I might feel is not the best use of my time, but sometimes what I do doesn't feel like the best use of somebody else's time. So even if it's not everybody's priority, we still all come together to make it a powerful experience, basically.
Sure. And it's an honor to be a part of. One of the kids that goes to my gym was talking to me the other day about making quality friends. And I kind of referred to our group. Go make sober friends. A lot of 20-year-olds, teenagers, you go to the bar to make friends.
It's a horrible place to find friends.
You want to find those sober friends, go to lunch on a Sunday, go to church on a Sunday. These are the people you're going to establish a good relationship that you can add a ton of value to, and they can add value to you.
Not to mention, it's not a relationship built off of a temporary feeling. Now, granted, all feelings are temporary.
To an extent.
Yes, but I don't think that bonds and respect isn't temporary. The respect or disrespect is either an eternal or no, it's actually never ending. Because either you respect somebody until you die or, you don't like them anymore. It's one of those. So then you don't respect them. When you're drinking, when you're smoking, when you're in a state of mind that you wouldn't make. If you wouldn't, I'm not even going to use the tattoo. I'm going to use marriage. Like if you're going to marry somebody and you wouldn't make that decision and you're out of your mind, and that's the people that you want to meet is the people that can't make actual good quality decisions like that. That's not a very good place to meet people that are going to help your life.
Sure.
And something my brother lives by, which I'm very proud of him. He learned this in high school. He's 18.
18.
Yes. Oh, I mean, even my brother that's 15, he follows this to the T. It's like,
They get a great role model.
yes, I will say, but I wasn't always like this because I would entertain people too far. I would take a little bit too much of the negativity per se. But they live by, if this person doesn't add to my life, or if this person isn't a positive impact to my life, I do not need them in my life.
It's a great mindset.
Here and fine before them, and I'll be here and fine after them. But with them, why would I allow them to bring my life down? And not too many people live by that. Some people are just a little too codependent on negativity, just to be specific.
Well, people thrive on it. That's some people's energy.
They really do.
You got to get out of that. Got to get out of that habit.
I adjusted the sound much more better. Yeah, but that's another thing is habit breaking. I feel like there's this really good book. Not to sound like one of those weird little podcast guys. Go read this book. But this book, The Power of Habits and Atomic Habits, are both fantastic. It's not really that it's going to teach you. Well, I mean, it might teach you something new. It didn't teach me anything new per se, but it did help me revisit things that I would subconsciously be thinking.
Or even identifying those habits you need to change and giving you a couple steps to move forward and getting.
And it gives you examples too, and it gives you things that you can relate to and that you can process. Basically, it's very good for breaking bad habits or building new habits or integrating different habits. Sometimes if you can't stop smoking, you need to integrate something that takes money away from your budget to smoke, and you also need to integrate something to replace the smoking, and that's two different habits that you have to build. But either way, not to sound like a nerd or whatever they call it nowadays, read a book that's going to help you, and that's one of the good books, because it, like I said, or like you said, building habits and habit management, being able to actually like comprehend what's going on and then change it and control yourself is very, very important.
It's important not to rely on the book to break your habits. That's something that happens within you. Sure, we can use the book as a tool to follow, but it takes some strength, takes some grit, but you will love the new you once those nasty habits are out of you.
You will truly love the new you. I think a lot of people really don't like them though.
You don't think so?
No, a lot of people don't like them.
Their internal self.
What do you think? Because I know a lot of people, and I see a lot of people, and I analyze a lot of people. And the people around me, I'm quite confident that they like themselves.
Sure.
But the majority of people walking around and sitting in traffic and whatnot, I don't think that they do like themselves.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of people stuck in this trap of comparison, especially with the social media-esque world we live in today. Comparison is the thief of joy. If you're constantly comparing yourself to someone who's on their chapter 10 and you're in your chapter 1, you're going to be miserable. I think it's important to stay in your own lane, take it day by day, and like we talked about earlier, express the gratitude for the things you do have.
I think that is a beautiful thing to say, especially the way that you laid it out. The game of comparison is such a crazy thing. Like, people compare themselves to the final product of what they don't even know went into the product.
That person's been working their whole life to get where they are.
Right.
You can't act like your day one's going to be like their year 10.
Basically, because to expand off of that, me with social media was like, I've had the account that I currently have after being hacked. I've had it for 2 years, and I've made tens of dozens of accounts. But this last one I've had for 2 years. Sure. Everybody will look at the product and assume I've been at it for 2 years. Oh my God, he's perfect. I've been doing this for 11 years. Sure. No, 2014, made the account in 2012, 12 years. Sure. I've been working on social media and content creation, video editing, and all this shit for 12 years. The last 2 years were just the fruits of the past 10 years.
Yes. And you make a mistake, you learn from it, and then the important part is applying that.
Yeah.
That lesson onto the next.
That's my applicable lesson, but the sad part is there will be young cats that'll look at my stuff and be like, they'll do it for like 2 months and they'll be like, why am I not there yet? And I'm like, you gotta keep going, dude.
Well, also there's what I really love about your 90-day programs is you're not guaranteeing instant gratification. Like you scroll on Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media you use, and you see, oh, make $10K in 1 month or make $300 in 1 day doing this. It's so easy. if they're selling that in the first place, it's probably not that easy to do.
It is. It's funny. It is because you can go on Facebook Market and go find a camera and offer them half. And I do this all the time. And use this sales tactic if you want to do it. If you're in America or North America, go on Facebook Market, find a product, specifically digital products, offer them half in cash to pick it up within the hour. Give them 3 convenience factors. Half of the time they'll take it. The other half, if they say no, then just text them and be like, okay, let me know when you're ready for me to come get it.
Sure.
And then 25% of that second half, they come back to you because you just made it so easy to get rid of it. And everybody that's hitting them up is bullshitting and this and that. You get a 75% chance of making that $300 flip.
Sure.
Very easily. So you can make it, but it might be a little bit more difficult. You might have to do the work. Yeah, it takes effort. Everything takes effort.
Cheap dopamine. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. And that's why 10K 90 day, I get pumped up talking about it because this is my baby. I've been working on it for 10 years. Sure. And the first 2 episodes are they just fill you in on what we're going to go through and what you're going to talk about and how much work it is because it's a lot of work. And
I appreciate that you're transparent.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm going to give you a little star and you're going to get this done. Like, it's not like that. It's genuine work with genuine guides and genuine understanding to help comprehend what is happening, how you should be feeling. Like, literally, everything is incorporated into it. The fact that you need nutrition and sunlight and water and sleep is incorporated into the course because you need these things in order to sustain a higher stress level of being active every day, waking up at a certain time, posting, interacting. And there's a deload process. I go through psychologically. How can you deload yourself at the end of the day so you're not stressed out? How can you get over the shitty?
Let's talk about that deload. What do you do?
Ooh.
This is one thing I'm working on, that end of the day routine.
I don't think my deload is very good for most people.
What? Explain. I
just hit a blunt. That's usually what I do. And if I'm being completely honest, I use the THCA. And I'm going to be completely transparent. Anybody that doesn't like it, sucks to be you, I guess. But I use it in a very, I like to call it, educated way. Because I've been smoking I've never talked about this on the internet. This sucks. I've been smoking for years. It is what it is. I've been smoking for years, though. And I've always used it in certain times. In times that I use it inappropriately, I will purposely punish myself. Like, I'll go for a run, go to the gym, drink a gallon of water, do push-ups. I'll burn it out of my system. Sure. I don't care if I have to get niacin. But when I do use it at the end of the day, I use it after the gym. Because after the gym, the way that my workouts are, I don't know. We haven't done a full one because I've been fucked up. Sure. But my adrenaline is high at the end of my workouts.
As it should be.
Yeah, and my metabolism is not there. I'm not hungry. My appetite's gone because it's an appetite killer. And I don't take caffeine or anything. But I will use it to smoke because I want to eat directly after the gym. Or if I've had a stressful day, I'll use it to smoke, decompress, and then I'll be able to eat. I'll be able to go to the gym. Or whatever the case may be. If I work for 4 hours straight sitting at a desk, I'll go sit on the back patio, drink some water, take 2 hits off the blunt, and then reset my body. Sure. It's like a reset.
That's your deload protocol.
That's my deload protocol. Usually.
Full transparency. I was in college when marijuana was legalized in Michigan, so we enjoyed our
experimental.
But at what point does that become a vice? What point do you rely on that totally to deload?
There was one point, and now I don't. If I don't have access to it, like when I'm traveling, other deload processes I like to do. The sauna is amazing, first of all. I have the portable sauna. Get the portable sauna. It's so good because you can bring it anywhere if you don't have a sauna. But the sauna is great. A cold shower is a great reset. Just taking a shower and like not even hot or cold, take a shower, brush your teeth, put some on your face, just reset your body. That's a good reset. Going for a walk, finding a place with like running water and just fucking chilling off of your phone or reading.
Put your phone down.
Put your phone down is going to help you a lot.
Breathe. In through the nose and out.
If you turn your phone off, you'll feel so much better. But there's a lot of different protocols, and realistically, not all these are going to work for you. Because when I first started working out, or when I first started doing the sauna, I hated it. I hated doing it with David. I am naturally above regular temperature. I'm very warm-bodied to begin with. I'm like a bear, but the sauna's difficult.
You have to get used to it. It's like any other physical challenge. One piece of.
But some people also have health conditions. They can't do the sauna. Some people cannot get too cold. It's like, there's certain vices that other people can't do that we can do. So when it comes to finding this deload process, it's do research, continue trying new things, take bits and pieces of information from studies, from friends, from influencers, take everything with a grain of salt, test everything, evaluate how it made you feel, evaluate did it help my muscles.
And use a tool to evaluate. Usually, if it's at the end of the day, see how well you sleep. Sleep is going to be your number one
And
thing
see how
as far
deep
as
it is
performance
too.
goes.
When you wake up, also like you have to pay attention to how good was your sleep, because there's sleep where you're awake for like 2-3 hours and you still feel like shit because you didn't get into a deep sleep. And there's sleep when you wake up and you're like, boom, good to go.
Those are good days. Yeah. Get into that REM. What is it? 4 hours of REM you need per night? 3 or 4. Yeah. We'd be lucky to get 3 or 4.
3 or 4 is like my average. Like I fall asleep at like 4 in the morning and I get up at like 9, 10. Sure. I always try and get up before 11 only because that's been my protocol for the past 4 years, because all of you guys get up or you get on your phones at 12, and this is why there's 2 post times. And everybody says, any guru who says there's a post time, there's not a post time. The post time is specific to you, but the post time is the post time that's stable is also psychologically geographic.
Sure. So, for example, how do you, someone that's new into social media, how do you figure out when your post time?
Your post time, so this will depend on if you have followers or not. Sure. So if you have 0 followers, you will not have one. But if you have even 100 followers, they will average when those people's accounts are online and actively scrolling and using it, and it will tell you in your professional dashboard. So it'll tell you this is the peak hours that your audience is online. Now, with apps like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, I'm not sure if all of them are geographic. It depends. Most of them are in a 3-hour time zone based off of devices and IP addresses, but TikTok specifically is geographic. So posting on TikTok, I'm going to post right before lunch when everybody gets on their phone and starts scrolling because either they're off work or they're school. They can get on their phones because you guys can't get on your phones now in school. I know that. So that's the first time of the day that I know everybody's on their phone. They're checking their phone. They're on Instagram. They're getting their dopamine hits. Sure. The second post time is between 3 and 5 when moms and dads are sitting in carpool picking up their kids and the kids are on the bus scrolling. 3 to 5 is the next time zone. The last time zone is 8 to 10 when people are in bed and they're sad before school or they're at the gym or whatever the case may be. Those are what I follow, and those are what I call psychological geographical.
So, and those are based in Eastern time here, but if you're out in California, do you follow a different schedule? Or?
Yeah, I do. If I'm out in California, I follow a different schedule, or if I want to post to the people here, I just use a VPN, and I also make sure that I have the post scheduled 3 hours ahead if I'm in California.
Been doing this for a while.
I've been doing this for a very long time.
Good friend to have.
So yeah, if like say I'm in the UK is 6 hours ahead of us. So if it's 6 o'clock here, I make sure that the post is scheduled 6 hours behind, and I just use the VPN to upload it like I'm there. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and there's a lot of different ways to make your life easier, which is also a completely different thing that I teach in the course, how to make all this easier, how to schedule, where to find good VPNs and all that.
What's your scheduling method? I'm a big scheduler. Everything I do is on the calendar or in my...
Everything's calendar. If it's not on the calendar, I'm fucked. And even if it is on the calendar, I'm probably fucked.
Sure. Time management is so important because as you get busier, you need to handle a bigger load as far as a workload goes.
That's literally what I just posted on my story before you got here.
I think I saw that.
Time management's necessary. Time management and task allocation. Like being able to tackle tasks is extremely important, but kind of touching on the question you asked before, what does time management look like or post schedule?
Time management.
Time management's all calendar.
You stay up pretty late, right?
Yeah, my day begins at like 10 to 11 usually. I try not to run it any later than that. Sometimes I do though. Sometimes I'm up later. It's not very often, maybe once or twice a month that happens. But most of my work is done the first 4 block hours of the day. The second half of my day is generally allocated to a little bit of family time, errands, running around before 4:35. 4:35 comes around, that's when I'm going to start working again, or I'm going to start editing, or I'm going to start content creation, or I'm probably out trying to chase golden hour sun with content. Sure. So that's variable dependent, or sometimes I'm meeting with you guys, or sometimes there's always so many things. Live by the calendar though. Mm-hmm. My content production has slowed down heavily with short form content, which is relatively new, and with long form because we're batch making this content, which you guys don't know about yet, but you're going to see. And you're going to love it because on that task management thing I had, everything I need to do to get my Instagram ready, it needs to be verified. I need to make sure that my Wikipedia on Google looks good. I need to make sure that I set up the the AI chat that responds and gives you the information that you commented for. I need to set all that up because these podcasts are going to go on Instagram and you guys are all going to see it. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for being a long form watcher. And if you're on Instagram, this was the plan.
Thank you for joining.
Oh, yeah. But time management, yeah, is very important. But the last between 8 and 2 a.m., if it's 2 a.m., I'm only going to the gym if I'm pissed off.
Yeah, I've seen you in there late night a few times. Like, what is this? What is this guy doing? We're gonna be sleeping.
If it's 12 to, if it's like 10 to 12, I'll probably go to the gym. Nobody's in the gym. Nobody's there. I can do whatever I want. I don't have people complaining about me taking pictures in the gym. You guys are like, stop taking pictures. I feel bad about my body. Then get off your phone. If you feel bad about your body, then get off your phone. Unless you're following a workout on your phone. But that's how my day usually looks. Late night is usually when I'm at the gym.
Okay. I was wondering what you do after midnight. 'Cause that's a no-go zone for me. That's strict.
Yeah. But that's when my
body's just like that.
circadian rhythms are like,
Sure.
Right.
That's you naturally. You stick
oh,
with
yeah.
that.
I've been doing this for years. Like, I've literally been doing this since I was 17. I've been late. Well, I've been doing this since I was like 12. I stayed up playing video games my entire teens, and I was up in the gym after I turned like 17 every night.
I will say it's impressive with that schedule. You still make it to our weekend meetings at 8 a.m. on Saturdays and pretty much 8 a.m. on Sundays.
No, those are the nights that I do get 4 hours of sleep because I'm sorry, I'm not going to sleep early. I'm going to the gym.
But he's not coming around like a zombie. You're pretty live when you come around.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
No, I got to keep the energy, you know? A lot of times I'm very good at managing my energy, and this is something that my buddy Alex talks about. He's kind of I'm not going to say that, but my boy Alex, he knows his body very well, and something great about fitness is throughout all the injuries that you get, well, if you're stupid like me and you're not proactive, but through injuries, through trial and error, through getting sick and losing muscle, through different seasons of your life and watching your muscle dissipate because of stress, which seems impossible, but it plays a very big role in your hormones. Through all of that, you learn your body very well. And you know how to regulate and how it responds. Like, you will literally know what snack you can eat a very minute amount of to snap your body awake. When it comes to the smoking, I know about how much carbohydrates I need to drink to flush my eyes and make my skin look more vibrant. Sure. Because I just know how my body responds.
You're real dialed.
Oh, yeah. That's the best thing about being in the gym and being like in tune with your body and continuing to do, your own research and just watch videos when you're fucking eating a hot dog or whatever.
Sure. I would say, but saying from someone just starting, I mean, obviously we've been
at it for a while.
Fitness for a long time, but starting out, it's just consistency.
Show up every
day,
man. You just get your reps in, honestly. Yes. Like protein, vegan protein.
There you go.
These guys need to sponsor me. Not really. Gym subs though. Gym subs
180 grams a day, right? Yeah. What are you at?
Not anymore, man. I'm at like 140.
Okay.
I have dialed it.
Solid.
Before, it was a solid 200 for like 3 years. I was like, I don't care how much weight. I don't care how much I weigh. I just care about how much I eat, which is a mistake. That made me hate food. My relationship with food was horrible after that. But when it comes to now, it's 140 grams of protein. It's pretty chill.
Relationship with food. You ever tried to fast?
I have. I like it.
I know I've pitched the idea to you this weekend.
I feel powerful. If I wasn't helping my brother.
Fast.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty long fast. And I've done that, but it was not purposeful. It was me taking Adderall.
No Adderall allowed on this one. Water, black coffee, sodium, lemon.
Sounds so good. It literally sounds like my body getting a fucking reset. I'm doing this.
It literally is.
I can't do this the next weekend because I'm gonna be in the fucking DR.
I do once a month.
I'm gonna do it.
Boys are joining me now.
I'm gonna do it with you guys next month because next month I'm trying to get productive. You feel me? But this month is extremely productive. Like I said, next week starts a crazy summer, and this is about to be. Last summer was dope. Like, that was when I had my bodybuilding show, and that's when I was traveling the most, and that's when you guys really got to see the lifestyle that we all like to do. But this year...
What's this week look like?
This week?
Yeah. What you got going on?
This week is going to... Or this weekend? Or this upcoming week? This upcoming week, Monday is free, luckily. Tuesday, I have to go to Charlotte, and I have a shoot in Charlotte. I have to meet with some buddies out there and go to this little content gym called Core 24. Then Wednesday, I believe, is classes, which I love. It's a majority of my freaking CIS tech classes. 4 hours of that. I'm going to be stuck in there. Thursday is I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look at the calendar.
Just testing.
Yeah, Thursday's content. Friday, I know I fly out though.
Mm.
Or actually, no, I go to Atlanta, and then we go up there, and then we have to go back to Virginia, and then we come back to Charlotte Airport, and then once we go out of the Charlotte Airport, we fly out to DR.
Mm.
But we're going down there to meet with some veterans and my primary work line, which is the government contracting. So that's going to be a beautifully packed week. There's like 2 days free in there. I think it's Monday and Thursday.
And you have a lot going on. I mean, you do the contracts, you have your own courses, you're in school. Yeah. What do you do with your bandwidth? How do you compartmentalize those 3 full-time
I
jobs?
do a horrible job of it. I do a genuinely
not perfect.
horrible job of it, if I'm being completely honest. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to these courses and podcasts, so I'm not releasing these until it's batched. I know how busy I am, and I can't promise a load because this is like a show. Content creation is like a show. People are depending on seeing it when you say you're going to produce it. That's why we're batch making so much content. So I'm not producing that in full until I have 3 months of it, because 3 months gives me 3 months to make 3 months more of content, but I can do that in a week in the summer because there's so much that goes on during the summer versus the, winter. Winter's grind time, summer's go time. But content creation is in bulk right now, full bulk, which is great. That's going to pop off in the summer.
Always has a camera in his hand. Good to be around. Get some pretty sweet shots.
This is going to be a fantastic summer, and my little brother is in training for it, so it's going to be immaculate.
Getting the family involved. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well, I
incredible.
wanted to be part of the business, and I was telling my mom about this is because basically, with that, I can very easily... What's up, motherfucker? Basically, with him being as young as he is, we can contract him into SWD because there's no age for contracting and having an LLC in North Carolina. He can do that, and then whatever cards I have under the business, I can basically sign him as an authorized user, and then that starts his age of credit. So by the time that he turns 18, 20, he already has like 5 years of credit history.
Incredible.
So we're doing stuff like that.
A good setup.
Yeah, because I would like to be able to give them what I fucked up in the beginning now that I've learned it. So that's a whole different process. The content creation is a whole different compartment. The government contracting and acquisition is a completely different compartment from the rental cars that I'm trying to do, from the home properties. I'm trying to do a lot, and I have to reallocate.
Sure.
I have not been doing a great job at all. Everything is, it's building, and everything has people. I've luckily found amazing connections for people to handle the rentals, for people to handle the properties, for people to, my brother to be able to handle the media management side of things. So everything is about to, the foundation's there, and the Lego blocks are about to click. Everything's already built and ready to go. But I will say, I'm not perfect by no means, and I have not been managing it well by no means.
But you have a plan.
Of course.
And you're getting that.
I've had this plan for years.
built.
I just needed the right people. I needed the right resources. I needed the right tools. And you have to look long for that.
Finding good people is extremely difficult.
Finding people you can trust is extremely difficult.
So let's talk about a vetting process. How do you find those people? Because I remember when I opened my gym, we had about 12 to 15 interviews, and I remember not being super impressed with any of them, but luckily we had a few walk through the door, cold called, incredible members of the team now. So I was wondering, what's your interview process look like? How do you vet? What are these questions you ask to see if they're qualified enough to A, earn your trust, and B, be on your team?
I would say it's extremely casual, and I like to do things in the most unorthodox way because humans are subconsciously aware of scripts. They're subconsciously aware of being tested. They're just aware of things, and they will act differently based off of that. I often compare humans to animals because they literally are animals. They're biological creatures. But my vetting process, don't take notes, is basically it's like getting to know you in a very natural way. I'll ask, personal questions. I'll provide as much value as I can, as much feedback as I can. I try to keep the conversation 50-50, so I will make sure to give you 50% of whatever information I want to share with you and to ask for 50%. Most people will either overtalk or undertalk. I make sure that the exchange is quite equal to get enough information out of you and to also see how you react to what I say, see your eyes, see your body language. Do you like what I said? Do you not? Are you comfortable? I'm looking at everything.
A good test is the silent test. You see if someone is just comfortable sitting. It drives people crazy.
That kills people, man. That literally makes people so uncomfortable. But I look really angry most of the time.
I disagree.
So, well, not
Maybe that's
around
'cause
you
I
guys.
know you. Yeah.
Not around you guys. Around you guys, I got a big stupid smile on my face for some reason. But one on one, or like when I'm sitting alone, people are like, "Why do you look so angry? What are you mad at?"
Not the most approachable
No,
guy.
apparently. But
I don't see that side of you.
you don't need to. Nobody needs to see that side of me. But the vetting process is I usually do 2 to 3 parts. I usually do it for accountability, consistency, dedication. I just want to get to know you. I want to know your story. I want to know how much of it you'll share, how open you are. It's really just kind of a get to know you thing. And I have probably invested too much time in vetting, whether it was my coaching business or whether it was my gym or whatever it was. I've probably invested too much time into it, but it was worth it every time. Because there were people that I knew was just like, all right, this ain't gonna work. Like, off bat.
It's real dry.
Yeah. Just no
I think that's important.
context.
Yes. Like obviously, if they're applying for the job, they're probably qualified.
Not
But
always,
you gotta
man.
see if you could spend some time with that person and they won't drive you crazy.
But you also have to like the people you hire. That's the thing.
Amen to that.
I'm sorry, like there's different employment rules around the world. There's different employment rules in all the states. But when it comes to a company and running a company, like people think of things short term as fuck. People think of things as in this year. I like to think of things in 10 years. Like I dreamed of this 10 years ago, and I have a dream for 10 years from now, and it's looking like it's going to be 2 years. But hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But most people, when building a company, you should hire people that you like. You should hire people that you have their back and they have your back. You should hire people that if something went wrong, they would do everything to fix it. And you should be able to be in the position that if something goes wrong on their end, or if they need leave, or if there's a family emergency, it's not like, oh, you're fired. It's like, yo, here's some extra checks. Make sure you take care of that. How can I help you?
Because you know they do the same.
Yeah, like they will be so what do they call it? The morale, is that what it is? The morale of the troops. If you have their honest dedication and you have their heart and you give them your heart, you will have such a much longer lasting connection, because at the end of the day, business is based off of service or how you can help. So those two things. And it's the value of the service. Some things don't really require human interaction, but at the end of the day, I've seen millionaires, billionaires, I've seen people who just make thousands of dollars in drop shipping. All of them, they will make rash decisions based off how they feel. So in your business, make sure that the team feels good. You all like each other. Make sure that they're all going to have each other's back. And you will grow. And you will all be able to vet out the weeds that are going to kill your business. So when it comes to that, you just need to make sure that you like the people that you're fucking hiring. It's very important.
Trust. Like they gotta have your back. And likewise.
Trust is something you got to figure out. Trust is
hard.
Yes. Because trust can be broken. People change over time. Sometimes somebody would have and do anything for you, and sometimes there will be circumstances in their life that you would never know about. It could be lethal. It could be just emotional, but people can change and their intentions can change, and they might be too scared to disappoint you to tell you that their intentions have changed. So
we're all a personal testament to that. I mean, you today, I'm sure, is
I am
much
very
different
different.
than you 5 years ago, and likewise. I mean, you wouldn't even recognize me, the person I was 5 years.
You wouldn't have recognized me 5 years ago.
I'm glad we're here, man. I'm glad that today's the day we do this. Then
I think that everything. Well, I know that everything happens when it needs to. There are things that we want to happen that we're not ready for, and I've not been ready for, but I would definitely say that I'm in a very good place to have this conversation. If I would have had this conversation with you 5 years ago, the only thing I would have been able to talk to you about is flipping, car racing, and drinking and gym shit. That's all I would have known.
a simpler life,
Much
but,
simpler.
not as fulfilling.
No, it was not fulfilling whatsoever, but everything does happen when it needs to, and you need to understand that everything happens when it needs to, because if you try and force some shit, you might get burnt real bad finding out it was the wrong time. I know I have recently.
We've all been there.
Oh yeah, if you try and force something that's not meant to be prophesized, you're gonna end up setting yourself back or destroying what you even wanted in the first place. You might take that away from yourself, and then you got to wait for a whole nother blessing.
What's your biggest business failure? If we're on this topic, hate to go grim here, but it's important people see that someone like you've had some troubles getting to where you are.
Biggest business failure. Legal or illegal?
Something you feel comfortable sharing online.
My gym in Miami that was supposed to be the neon nightclub gym, but it was only because I opened it like 3 months before Corona, and if it wasn't for that, it would have been fire because it was full, and I had to give all the money back.
But it was mainly just
It was a
the
neon
world
gym in
closing
Miami.
down. Well, yeah, that
Yeah, it
would
was
kill here,
fucking
but-
fire. It was in South Beach, Miami, Ocean Drive. It was absolutely immaculate, and it's gone. Biggest
But
business failure.
imagine where you'd be.
I wouldn't. I
what
would,
life would look like.
I would not want it to look like that.
You'd be that guy 5 years ago. Still.
Miami is fantastic, but I'm very, very, very happy I did not go back. It was a great experience, and it was great to know what I do not like in the world, and it's taught me a lot of things. It's taught me a lot of things to stay away from. It's taught me a lot of things to incorporate, because there are some luxuries of life that I just can't live without, like my coconut water. I gotta have my coconut water, always. But some people are like, I'm not spending $4 on coconut water. I'm like, okay. Well, sadly, I have to make the money to enjoy it because I want to enjoy it.
And that's a superfood. That's something your body will love and crave.
Yeah, I eat like I drink like 3, 4 of those a day, bro. I feel hydrated as can be, but that's $20 a day. For me, 4 years ago, that was a day's worth of eating meals for me because I was just detailing cars. Like during Corona, I had to detail cars because I had to stop doing other stuff, but that was a meal for me. $20 was a meal back then. Now it's just my drinking water, basically. So you can kind of design and expand that however you want, depending what you want. Like back in the day, $10, I was like, okay, that's 2 meals for me today. And that's how it had to be. And then I was like, how can I make enough so where this is like 1 meal? And then I can eat more meals and I can get bigger because I wasn't big back then either.
Especially quality food. I feel like people are timid on spending money on good food, but
If you can cook,
this is the only temple we get.
you want to let it die? You just want to let it fall apart?
No, we need to put good fuel in our
That's the
body.
most unwise thing I had ever heard, if I ever heard something. That's the biggest thing, is like, it is very important in today's age, especially because I would say this, especially in Western culture. I grew up looking at Catholic, Baptist, and a couple of other different very strong principled religions, or parts of the religion that is Christianity, I would assume. I don't really know anymore, but I grew up in a very, very strong Christian household. I've seen lots of different parts of it. I've seen how the teachings of it are very broad in America, like thou shalt not be vain, thou shalt not hurt your neighbor. There's some good teachings, there's some bad teachings, but thou shalt not be vain. People take that as thou shalt not be, self-consumed or self-absorbed. They look at loving yourself as being cocky. So there are some derivatives from good word that people have just tied up in a way that is very constricting. Like, I know that in my side of the family that is extremely, what is the word I'm looking for? They're a little bit more strict. No, that's not the word. Extremist. Extremist is what I'm looking for. They take the word very to the book. And it's like, if you look at yourself in the mirror, if you take your shirt off, you're vain and you're going to hell. Like, that's how it is.
I mean, I disagree with that for sure.
Well, I'm just saying
but-
there's certain parts of it,
But we're taught not to have idols. If your body is your idol and you put that before God, that is sin.
Yes.
The same with nice things, nice cars, wanting millions of dollars in the future. If you're putting that above God, that is an idol. That's according to the Bible, that's sin.
That is like, people look at that as something that is not attainable, but they don't realize that they don't have to put it at number one above all. That's when you become greedy. That's when you become deceitful. That's when you undercut people. It's when you lead with, because when people speak of having God, the Holy Ghost, the faith, you have morals, you have ethics attached to it. You have like a quality front. This is where I stop. Nothing goes past this area because this is where it is. But if you don't have that layer of holiness, you go through and you'll do anything to acquire that wealth. And that's when you become really, really dirty.
And that's when it becomes an idol and becomes the ultimate sin.
It's like, kind of not to go on too much of a tangent with that, but when you look at yourself and when you're taking care of your body, it's the only body you're going to get, and you need to like it. You need to take care of your skin. You need to be able to take care of your health. You need to be able to take care of your mental capacity. These are things that you should pay attention to and be selfish with. Be selfish with your sleep. Don't go out just because your friends asked to. Be selfish with what you eat. Don't eat the garbage because everybody else is eating it. You need to be selfish with building your temple as strong as you possibly can. if you want that pyramid of Giza to be sitting there thousands and thousands of years later. Otherwise, you're gonna live a horrible, miserable life.
You nailed that. That's one of the things I tell my clients all the time is what are we putting in our body? This isn't food that we're fed here in a Western culture. Any fast food, it's just a concoction of chemicals.
It's
I don't
pretty
wanna speak-
bad.
I don't want to speak negatively on any specific brand. I don't want to offend anybody that has a love or addiction for something like Bojangles.
It's okay. I'll offend them. But it's like we're not even really trying to offend people. But something I was even talking about with my mother earlier, the way I was watching a podcast, me and my boy John were setting up. It was 1 minute, 60 seconds. It was actually a minute and 23 seconds of footage of us just going back and forth, insulting the fuck out of each other. Like, he was like, your mom and this, and we were just going back and forth. And I was like, this is how guys talk to each other. But and then all I heard was like criticism of each other's weaknesses. He was talking about like how my shoulders fucked up, and I was talking about his legs. That's just how guys are. And sometimes it requires a little bit of difficult, harsh, offensive talk for you to realize, hey, you should work on it. Like, that's how it was for me with my legs. Everybody's like, you got small legs. I was like, all right, I'm going to do 4 days a week. I'm going to do this heavy shit.
That'll help your legs
I
grow.
heard that running helps your calves. I had never ran. I would literally I was in gym class, and I'd be like, go up to the girl with the clipboard and be like, can you write this time down for me? That's it. I fucking hate running. I do. But I heard it makes my calves better. So I need to improve my calves. I start running. Sure. So it's like this criticism and making fun of, like, I call David Landwell, and he calls me Cricket Master or some shit because I'm fucking skinny. This criticism between guys is always great. Sure. Well, I mean, compared to Landwell,
That's how guys show love, though. We talk shit to
Oh, yeah, because we're just looking at each other and we're like,
endearing.
Fix that, dumbass. Like, that's all it is.
Coming from the right person, it means the world.
Yeah, if you just have some fucking weirdo come out of nowhere and he's like, your calves are small, it's like, all right, your fucking brain's small. But if it's your boys and they're just taking a look at you and they're like, your arms could be bigger. You look like I could beat you up, so you should get them bigger so nobody looks at you like that. That's love. That's just how it is. But
it doesn't always have to be the outside appearance. I mean, we're all dealt a different hand of genetics and a different work ethic, but let's start by taking care of the inside.
Oh, yeah, that's super important. Everything you put in is your output. Yes. It doesn't matter if it's code. It doesn't matter if it's knowledge. It doesn't matter if it's food. Everything you put in will affect your output, and your output is dependent on what you put in. Whatever your input is, you have control over.
And speaking of food, one thing I like to preach on my clients is we don't need to eat for taste. We don't need to eat for happiness. We are eating strictly for nutrition.
It's fuel.
Yes, 100% fuel. And
it's also not necessary.
Do you want to be a Toyota Prius or do you want to be a race car?
I want to be a Lamborghini.
Yeah, Lamborghinis don't take regular fuel.
No, they don't. In fact, I want to be Bugatti. I need that jet fuel. The only thing I eat is ground beef, rice, and grains.
Ground beef diet.
Yes, I did that for a very, very long time, and I felt very powerful. Like, my frame, at 169 pounds, I should not be able to be benching 340. There's no fucking way that should be possible. But that's the most dialed there ever was. It's the strongest my tendons ever were. I was making sure I was getting my fats. I was stretching. I was doing everything right.
Not to mention, your mind works 10 times better. You sleep better. You look better.
Your skin doesn't break out.
Endless benefits. You just gotta break that.
Maybe that's why that my skin's breaking. I had that Bojangles.
That's it.
I'm done with Bojangles, man.
You gotta watch this podcast.
I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna be like, never again. I'm not doing it. I'm really not gonna do it now.
Shake on.
Oh, no more Bojangles for 1 year. 1 year. I gotta go back to it eventually. But 1 year from June 1st, basically. That's what we're gonna call it, June, because my brother's birthday is in a month and 5 days. So that's how I'm gonna remember this. Not really, but just no more Bojangles because it's garbage. And we're gonna move somewhere that doesn't exist as well. But either way, I think that we covered a lot of fantastic topics today. Is there anything else that you feel as though they should know, that you would want them to know, or that, what do you think? If you could tell them one thing, not even something that they can do that you wouldn't have done, but if you could just leave them with one piece of knowledge you bet they've never heard, what would it be?
Might have heard this, but spiritual health is number one. Find your God. I worship Jesus Christ. Obey them, and you will be blessed in many ways.
Do as he says. Do as he says. Find your faith.
Psalm 128, verse 1 through 2 basically speaks on, if you're obedient to God, he will bless you with things you could never even imagine. And I think I'm going through some of that right now. I've found my faith. I mean, we both grew up in very religious households, but I've been on my own journey with my faith the last few months, and life has never been better. I'm extremely blessed. Life is blissful right now.
When you really focus on your qualitative relationship with yourself and everything within, that's when you'll find most of your happiness, honestly. I love it. You guys make sure that you take notes, rewatch this podcast, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any opinions on anything that we said that we should hear. And let me know if you guys found anything offensive, because I love to know if this is cancelable or not. Not really.
Blow up them comments.
Yeah, blow up
Good
the
for you.
comments, Just let me know. We're trying to figure out how to do this right. We're trying to figure out how to do this in the most qualitative way to give you guys the most helpful information possible, if I could look into the camera. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like. If you don't want to leave a comment, you're too scared. But until then, we will see you guys in the next episode of Get 1% Better. And remember to get 1% better every single day. That was beautiful.